Hey folks, I thought I would upload this for fun. This is actually my first attempt at cutting acrylic or polycarbonate. I have a client that actually wants some shields made for a piece of equipment, and so I have a bigger sheet of polycarbonate. This is just a chunk of scrap I had laying around that was the same thickness, and I figured I'd test the design on this first. The bit being used here is an O flute 1/4 inch that I picked up. And I didn't quite know what to expect, so I went with something that, in retrospect, I guess is actually probably a bit beefier than I'll probably use for the final cut. Uh, the recommendation for this was to go half the diameter of the bit, and so this being 1/4 inch, nominally being 6 and change, this is doing the first step as 3 millimeters, and then another pass of 3 millimeters, and then going down another millimeter to take off the final bit. I do not have tabs on this. I figured it's a rather large chunk. It wasn't really going to go anywhere. Got a little bit of tear out on the center circles that I'm cutting out there. Nothing super noticeable on the final product, but something to keep an eye on for the next one. I will probably do a couple of attempts with much slower speed and my 1/8 inch. Now I have a feel for what this is going to do. You look at right there, that actually wasn't just really close. It did actually take the end of the clamp off. These are just 3D printed clamps that I put together. Um, they're made out of PETG. They're designed to do that. It just went through like butter. Not a big deal. I misjudged the offsets uh, when I put this in. I'm actually using FreeCAD to put the design together and to output the G code, which is kind of a chore. I'm a glutton for punishment, but machines this big, some of the more popular tools don't have free versions, so YOLO. So yeah, this is going to do uh, one more pass after this. Um, yeah, like I said, didn't really know what to expect. Obviously, the dust collection is not on. That is on purpose for this. I was kind of curious to see what it was going to do and wanted to see what was going on. I highly do not recommend doing this. It snowed quite a bit. There were chips everywhere. Quite a bit of cleanup, but it let me keep an eye on things. Obviously, moving forward, I will make sure I have my dust collection going. The whole room smelled like a nail salon afterwards as well, which was kind of fun. Um, I think these chunks were way too big to be worried about any kind of inhalation or anything like that, but um, probably something to worry about. But yeah, again, no tabs, so this basically is just going to go through and one and done. Very minimal marks on the sacrificial chunk of OSB I had in there. Um, Edges were a little bit rougher than I expected, but for my very first attempt at this, I was fairly impressed with the output. Um, I have a much larger, more expensive sheet of polycarbonate that I will be using for the final tests on this, and obviously for production once I get going. But I figured when it came to doing the test of cutting it out, testing sizes, um, you know, this could have failed in multiple ways. The holes that are in there are way too big for the intent. I'm not sure what happened there with the model. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. I think I had a reference hole and I had a actual hole, and it might have grabbed the wrong one when I uh, put those together. But anyway, I was rather happy with the output. Um, Fairly impressed for a first pass. This particular one would need a little bit of cleanup, but again, being a scrap piece, you can't see it here, but this is already all scratched up and dirty and horrible. So this is really just to make a mess and to see how this performed. So yeah, um, there it is.